the last one.
Yeah, but this isn't even really I mean, it's a class, but it's not like your last time you're working with kids, you know, which would probably be the case, right?
What if it is?
Oh, I'll try not to moan and groan.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Watts and welcome to the Barrier Island Education Program. Today we are going to be learning about orienteering, or how to locate yourself on this big beautiful planet that I drew here. So we're going to go ahead and get started just by how you locate yourself. We're not going to quite talk about compasses just yet, but how you tell where you're at. So right now, to be obvious, I know that I am on Seabrook Island, mainly because I looked at a map and someone told me that I'm on Seabrook Island. But if you were giving directions, you could say you needed to make a left on Corner Street, or you could say, hey, you need to make a right at the McDonald's, and then make a left on by the tree that looks like an iguana. Okay, so there's all sorts of things that you can use to tell where you're at, whether it's actual physical landmarks like the McDonald's, street signs, trail markers, things like that, or really obvious things like you bump into an ocean, so obviously you know you're near water, or when you look up at the skyline and you can see that there's trees, or above that you can see maybe that there's a mountain, and you can use those to direct yourself. Now for compasses, we've been using them a long time. You might be wondering who uses compasses anymore. Everyone just uses GPS on their phone, right? Well, technically GPS is also a compass. And so we're going to talk about the old-fashioned kind of compass, if you will. Now, what makes a compass work is its ability to tap into the magnetic field that surrounds our entire planet. So if you can picture that this circle is our beautiful green planet, there's actually a force that goes all the way around that surrounds this. And what generates this magnetic field is that there is actually, in the very center of our Earth, there is a core that is made up of iron and what we also believe to be nickel. Okay? And so as our Earth rotates, it circles and moves around this core of metal. And in that way, it generates a magnetic field. And these compasses that we have are able to use that magnetic field that surrounds us so that we can also tell where we are at. Now, in the center of the Earth, it's really, really strong. And I'm going to kind of show you an example of how strong magnets can be. So here, I have two. We're going to pretend that this one's the north and that this one's the south. The cool thing about magnets is they're constantly being pulled towards each other, as long as one is a south and as long as one is a north and one is a south. Okay, so when I put these close together, they're going to start pulling, and I can actually feel that they are pulling towards each other. And now they're locked together, and they're really happy. In fact, they're so strong that I cannot pull them apart. But I have a trick. So, our compass is also drawn to our magnetic field. So when we have that needle that's in there, it's being drawn to the north direction. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a little model of a compass so we can talk about some of the features that are on there, and then we'll start diving into a little bit more. So, our compass here has a couple different things. Maybe the most obvious one and the one you're most familiar with is the needle, okay? If you've ever seen Pocahontas, you know that that's a big deal, pointing in the right direction of your heart, yada yada. But this needle here actually is going to point north, always north. The red section points north, the black section, because the sun's pointing north, obviously points south. It's the opposite. So you can see that that's all lined up. Now, the part that I'm rotating here is a circle, and this is called the compass house. And so as you can see, there's some numbers surrounding here, and there's also letters. There's S and W and N, and they're significant, okay? And then in here, we actually see that there's this little red thing. I call it a red shed, because I like it when things rhyme together. So later when we're discussing how to actually use a compass, that'll make sense, okay? So I'm gonna show a little bit more about how this compass works and why a circle is significant for our directions. So if we have our north and our south, these are the easy ones, north and south. But then we have east and west, and I just don't know where those go sometimes. So in my head, I use a little analogy called never eat soggy wheat. Now there can be like soggy waffles or never eat sour watermelon, whatever your heart desires. But you're going to go in a clockwise fashion. So never eat, so that's going to be our east, soggy wheat, so that's going to be our west. Okay. Now we're going to bring in a little bit of math to go along with our circle here. So if you remember from math class, a circle is made up of 360 degrees. Okay, and degrees is just a way to divide up a circle. So if you look at a pie chart, or maybe just a real pie, and you start cutting into it, you always want the biggest piece. And so you could say that you want a 90-degree piece if you're trying to be kind of nerdy about it. Okay, so if we go from north to east, we're going to divide up our circle, and we have 1/4 of our circle. So if we were to divide 360 into 4, you'd get 90 degrees. So our east represents 90 degrees on our circle. Now if we were to continue to go from north to east to south, so we're going to continue traveling around. Okay, if we take 90 plus another 90, you're going to get 180. So on our compass, we can either say that we're going south or we're going 180 degrees. If we keep on going, west is going to represent 270 degrees. And then obviously if you go all the way back around, you're going to get 360. Now, we did start at north, so north is also going to be 0 degrees. So north has 3 different names. You can say that you're north, 360 degrees, or 0. Everyone else just has 2. Okay? So if you wanted to actually go northeast, so if you wanted to go this direction, then you can say that you're going northeast or 45 degrees. Okay? So enough math. I'm going to show you guys a real compass and how this actually all works together so that we can tell where we're at and where we're going. So in my hand, you can see that the compass needle is now moving around. So if I were to rotate my hand back and forth, you can see that the needle wiggles, and we want that to float. So I wouldn't want to hold it upside down because then the needle wouldn't be able to do its job. So it's floating, and right now it is pointing towards north. So this way is actually north. So this is our compass house, if you remember. We got our compass needle, we've got the red shed, and one last thing that I have yet to explain is this arrow right here. This one's super important. This is our direction of go, or what I like to do is walk the dog, D-O-G, direction of go. So this arrow helps me know where I want to go instead of north. Because sometimes I don't want to go north, sometimes I'd like to go east. So I just turned the compass house so the east, or 90 degrees, is pointed in the direction of go. So if I were to walk my dog east, I'd be going the right way. Now I can't just start walking yet because I need to make sure that my needle is in the right area. So in order to make sure that I'm continually walking east, I still need to know where north is at, even if that's not the direction I want to go. So when I do this, I'm going to rotate my whole body, not just my hands, because that doesn't do any good. I'm going to rotate my whole body so that my red needle goes in the red shed. Okay? And then if I were to start walking, I would actually be going east. And as long as I keep my needle inside of the red shed, I will make sure that I'm going that direction. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put my compass skills to use, and we're going to head outside and just do a small portion of our compass course that we have here at camp, and we're going to just talk a little bit more of how to use this thing. So follow me. It's a beautiful day out here, so it's a nice day for a stroll. one of our compass course markings on it. We have our courses marked out by letters, and depending on where you're at in the course, then you can tell how far or close you are to your treasure. So this is asking for me to go 44 degrees and 21 paces. Now we haven't talked about paces yet, but paces is a way to measure how far you've gone in a certain direction. So I don't know about you, but I don't normally carry a ruler, a measuring tape with me just wherever I go, and especially not when I'm hiking. So in order for me to tell if I'm going the right direction and if I'm going to be in the right place, if I've gone far enough, I need something on my body that I can use to measure certain distances that I'm going. And what better way to do that than with your feet? So a pace is actually equal to 2 steps. So when I have my left leg hit the ground, that is going to be 1 pace, and that's when I'm going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, or however many. Okay, so I'm just going to start showing you. It's a regular walking pace. It's not like a heel to toe or super giant steps outward. It's a casual walking pace. So I'm just going to take a couple steps to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for every 1 pace, it's 2 steps. And that way, when you're given directions such as these, which is a degree or direction, you know how far to go in that direction so you don't walk into the ocean, or you make sure that you get the treasure that you're looking for. So if we go back to the plaque, it is saying that I need to go 44 degrees, which if you guys remember, is really close to east. Remember, northeast is technically 45 degrees. So I'm almost perfectly going northeast, okay? And then it says I need to walk 21 paces. When I turn my compass in the direction of go, I'm going to put it to 44 degrees. I'm going to line up my north needle, my red needle in the red shed, and then I'm going to look in that direction. And so sometimes it's easier to pick a landmark that's in the direction I want to go than to constantly try to keep this wiggly needle inside of the red shed, okay? So I see that there's a tree in front of me. So I'm gonna walk towards that tree and I'm gonna walk my 21 paces. So I'm gonna get going. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is why you wanna pick a landmark, because sometimes there's things in your way, and so you'll have to step over them and remember where you're at. I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And so you can see that I am now at my next marker. It says G and number 5, and it's giving me my next set of instructions of where to go next. Okay. So, who uses compasses anymore? Obviously hikers. I mean, you want to make sure that you know where you're going, especially when you're out in the woods or in an unknown landscape. But we definitely are still using them every time you take a flight or every time you cross the ocean. Our shipping lanes and things like that, all of them use compasses. And maybe one that you didn't think about are sea turtles. Also use our magnetic fields to direct where they're going, migratory birds. And so it's kind of cool to be part of that whole thing. I hope today you guys learned something new and that maybe you'll get the chance to use your compass, even if it's in the backyard, to test it out. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's lessons. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and we'll answer them for you. And thank you for being part of this program that we've put on for you. It has been such a joy to spend this time with you guys. So thank you and have a good day.